As a person that really enjoys making other people happy and making my friends and family and people comfortable around me, I've noticed that this trait of trying to please other people and also trying to avoid that feeling of guilt and disappointment is what led me into a lot of situations with manipulative people. And I'm not saying that it was always my fault, but what I am telling you is that this trait of mine, which is a good trait, has made me susceptible and vulnerable to this abusive behavior of manipulation in friendships and in romance. And if you're anything like me, we have to be able to identify the tactics and the methods that manipulators use so we don't keep being abused by them. Okay? So whether it's a family member or a friend or a lover, this can apply to anyone in your life. And really, I just want to say this now before we begin. When you have acknowledged that someone is a manipulator, there is no way to handle them. The only way to handle them is to not handle them, to not be in their life, to not be around them, to avoid them as much as you possibly can, and to really put up your guard, put up your fences, and lock the gate. Make sure they cannot access you, make sure they can't communicate with you, because their weapon is this, their mouth, the things that they say to you. Since you're already a pretty generous person, a kind, giving person, and they may have known you for a while, they're going to use that for their benefit to get what they want. Manipulation is about the persuasion to get something that's desired. They're trying to get something out of you and trying to control you. And you need to be the only person in your life that controls you. So the only way to deal with them is to not deal with them. And really quickly before we get into it, I want to say that I am not professional. I am not licensed. I am just a normal human like you who's had a lot of unfortunate and fortunate experience in life. And I hope that what I'm saying can help you out as well. So do not take my opinion as facts. Don't take anything I say as factual. Just listen to the advice of my personal anecdotes and consume it as you will on your own accord. And if you don't want to, that's fine. Don't take the advice at all. But this is not factual or required knowledge. Hi, Future Tabari here. I wanted to add in this clip from the future just to say that you should watch this video to the very end, because the way that you're being manipulated by somebody that you love can come in so many different forms. So if you really want to comprehend it from all these different angles, as well as get practical solutions on what to do in these scenarios, you have to watch the full video to understand everything I'm talking about. So I just wanted to say that. Go back to watching the video and enjoying. My first experience of understanding manipulation really came from like the media I grew up watching. Was like, I don't know why, but my parents had me watch like What's Love Got to Do With It with Tina Turner and Ike and that story. I'm not going to go too much into it, but basically it's one of those stories, unfortunate stories of someone that was very kind being manipulated by somebody else over and over and over, and had multiple forms of abuse happen over time. But I've also experienced it more emotionally, not physically or sexually, but emotionally, with the first person that I dated when I was younger in my teenage years. And this person started off very, very kind, very, very nice. And that's typically how it starts. And they're very, very kind. Things were very good, I would say, for that first like 6 to 8 months of knowing them. It's pretty good. But after a while of dating them, I noticed this shift where they got hot and cold. And that's one of the first things that a lot of manipulators will do, is that one day things are really good with them. They're really sweet. They'll buy you things. They're very, very kind. And then the next day, they'll be really mean, or you just won't hear from them for no reason. And it's like, it doesn't make sense. And then your brain is trying to put logic to the situation. But this person's being so illogical. They're like a complete mystery that you can never figure out. And it's like stressful, but also like your brain is constantly trying to stay there to figure them out. So he would constantly be hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. And it just kept being this pattern over time. And for some reason, I just kept dealing with it because I was trying to understand. And the only way I can make sense was to blame myself at the time, which I know now was not the answer. But at the time I was like, well, I must be doing something wrong, right? Like, if he's being randomly mean to me, I must be doing something. But then I would ask him and he wouldn't like give me a direct answer of what I was doing, but I would still blame myself anyways. Second thing is the guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is basically where the person has to make you feel guilty. They have to make you feel bad. You need to feel shame. Even for something that you didn't mean to do. It's much easier when you're a person who is seeking to please others. Like, manipulators often will seek out someone who's very people pleasing, someone that will listen to everything they say and wants to make them happy. And the thing I've learned about my own people pleasing, and maybe this applies to you as well, is that it's not really that the main goal is to always please and always make people happy. I think the underlying main goal of people pleasing is to avoid rejection and avoid hurt and guilt and shame. Like, you want to avoid the negative feelings, therefore you push towards making them happy. But this keeps you trapped because you give them the power over you because they're controlling your behavior. They become like a deity in your life because you're constantly pouring into them. And the way that they keep you hooked, one of those ways is the guilt tripping. They have to make you feel bad. They know you're a people pleaser and that you're going to give. So when you don't give and you finally do say no, they have to make you feel bad to break you. And you have to just be able to acknowledge this beforehand. So when you start feeling that feeling of guilt, you mentally can acknowledge that even though I'm feeling guilt right now, I know I'm doing the right thing by blocking them, by not talking to them and stop giving them what they want. You have to be able to have so much intelligence over yourself that even though you're feeling guilty and anxious, mentally you know better. Typically, you know that you're being guilt tripped or they're trying to make you feel guilty or bad about yourself based on what they're saying. It's one thing to tell somebody, I'm disappointed that you won't help me in this situation, but I get it. It's another thing for where these manipulators say, so you're not going to help me? I see how it is. So everybody hates me, huh? And you're one of them too. After all I did for you in the past, now you don't want to help me? You don't want to help me this one time with something when it really, really counts? Wow. I really see who you are. You know what? You're a bad person and you're a bad friend. You're a bad sister. You're a bad daughter. You're a bad brother. You're a bad son. You're just terrible. You're not a good person and you shouldn't treat people like this. When they're going off in all these ways, they're trying to make you feel bad. That is intentionally what they're saying. Like, there's no other goal to that. They're trying to make you feel bad. And especially if this person says this to you repeatedly, y'all have had an ongoing relationship where they keep saying stuff like that over and over. This is a way of controlling you. They're playing with your emotions because you emotionally want to be, you want to feel like the good person. You want to feel like a good person. You want to feel loved and accepted by people that you care about. But this person's rejecting you and telling you you're a bad person. So then you want to just be like, no, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I'll help you. I'm fine. I'm a good person. But that's what's keeping you trapped. Manipulators typically are going to play off of what you're missing in life. So if you're feeling very lonely and you're very isolated right now and they know that, they're going to try to show up for you as much as possible at first to get you hooked to them. Or if your life is very boring or you feel like your life is very plain, they're going to cause a lot of like fun stuff and chaos in your life to give you something like that's entertaining. They're always going to try to fill a gap in your life. They're going to try to do something that gets you emotionally hooked to them because they're going to try to fulfill a role or an emotional need that you have. Or if you feel like nobody does anything nice for you, when they first meet you and you tell them that, they're going to start buying you things and being really kind to you at first. But then when you don't do something they like, they're going to withdraw those things from you. And the way they got you hooked already, so they know, okay, when I withdraw this, they're going to listen to what I have to say. And basically you just giving them power. So even when somebody does these nice things for you and you're like, dang, I really been needing this, you have to be careful and watch out because they can use that as leverage over you, as power over you to control you. Because when they withdraw that thing, they expect you to chase after them. And that's when you have to remember, before you get into any relationship with anybody or friendship, that you are the prize. You are the standard. And that when people withdraw things from you, you don't have to earn them back from them, because you're self-sustaining. You don't have to please this person all the time. If you really don't want to do something and you really don't feel comfortable, you don't have to do it. And like I said before, if they make you feel bad, then that's not your person. They shouldn't be in your life. The next tactic you probably heard of a lot across the internet, and that's gaslighting. Gaslighting to me is a mutation of lying, because lying is just trying to conceal the truth. Make sure you don't know about it. Gaslighting is where the truth has been revealed to both of you, and the manipulator will still try to distort reality that you both clearly see. So for example, if you walk into the room and the manipulator is going through your bag and they're stealing money out your wallet or purse or whatever, and you're like, hey, you taking my money. And then they're like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to count how much money is in your bag, and I'm trying to help you with your finances. Like, I'm trying to help you. I'm in here checking on you on purpose. I'm trying to check on the money to make sure you have enough, because actually I was gonna put $20 more in your wallet actually. And then you might go for it and be like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. And then you tell your friends or other people, like, that was kind of weird, but it makes sense. And your friend will be like, that doesn't make sense. He tried to steal your money. But you're like, no, like, he does kind of give me money sometimes, so maybe he was actually trying to put money in it. No, you knew the truth in that moment of him doing that or her doing that. And really in that moment, it doesn't matter what they were trying to do. They still crossed the boundary of going through your stuff without you being there anyways. So you have to acknowledge the fact that you know what you saw. This person was caught. They flinched when you walk into the room. They know what they were doing. They just distorted reality of what they were doing to you and tried to make you feel like you're crazy or something's wrong with you. Or even when you fully know and you keep accusing them of lying, they still will go against you. And what they will do is they try to make you feel bad. So the gaslighting also, it ties back into the guilt tripping. They have to make you feel bad about it. So it's like, why are you in here watching me anyways? Why are you so worried about what I'm doing? You don't trust me? I thought we knew each other long enough for you to trust me. That's something that someone will do to make you feel bad. It's like, you don't trust me? Like, why would you not trust me? Like, I've done all this stuff for you. I bought you all this stuff. I'm always hanging out with you and was around you. And then you feel bad like, oh, I mean, they did do all that stuff. So why do I feel bad? So now you're going to listen to your emotions based off what you're logically seeing. And that's the problem. So when it comes to gaslighting, you need to write down the truth of what happened. You need to tell somebody else what happened, what you feel like happened. And you need to verify in your own way. So when they come to you with the lies, you're like, no, I wrote this down. I wrote this down and I told somebody, I verified this. So even though emotionally I do feel bad right now, logically I know this is the lie. This is a lie. This is a lie. You're just trying to confuse me. If a person keeps trying to make you feel bad and you feel beneath them, this is a clear indicator. When you feel beneath somebody else, like you're crazy, you don't matter, your value is lower than them, and you see them up here, that's when you're in danger. Any moment where you feel like this, where you're crazy, you're weird, you're a problem, this is an issue. Especially if they're the ones making you feel bad and they keep dealing with you, there's a problem there. Because here's the thing. Let's say you were the problem, right? Someone that is telling you, your friend that's telling you you're the problem, but they keep dealing with you, eventually they would just leave your life, right? A healthy person would be like, oh, I'm just going to leave your life because I don't like the way you're treating me. But what a manipulator will do, they'll stay in your life for a long time and keep making you feel bad about what you're doing. So if they've been in your life this long and they haven't left or tried to do something different, clearly they're just making you feel bad about it, because a healthy person would have just left your ass alone. Remember that manipulation can only really happen in this circumstance when you feel bad about yourself, or when you feel low, or when you're confused. If you're confused, you're feeling bad, you're vulnerable. And just like these stories, look up stories of how people get into like cults and how they get manipulated into joining a cult. They normally are in a place where they're vulnerable or like very confused in life or already feel pretty bad. It's very hard to manipulate somebody that is sure of themselves, sure about their life, confident, and has boundaries. Someone with high self-esteem, it's much harder to manipulate and trick them, but it's much easier to do it to somebody who has low self-esteem. So you need to really check that part of yourself that you may already have prior to the relationship as well. With that being said, another thing that may happen is that you will be given a choice, but it's not really a choice because there is a wrong answer. So the manipulator will give you something that's called an ultimatum. Basically, if you don't let me steal out your purse and take this money, I'm gonna leave you because you're not very generous. I shouldn't have to ask you for money. I should be able to take money out your bag when I feel like it, or your wallet. I should be able to take money when I feel like it. So the fact that you're not letting me, I might have to leave you. Like, I can't be with somebody who's not generous. So they're giving you a choice. Either you can let them keep taking out your bag, or they can just leave. And you seem like, okay, it seems at first like logical, like they're giving you a logical choice, like, okay, they leave or I let them take the money out. But this is what an ultimatum is about. It's really about pressuring you into one decision that is correct over one that's not, because the correct decision for them that they're trying to present to you is that just let me keep taking the money out so you can be seen as the generous partner or person or friend or whatever. And the wrong answer is to just let me leave, because you just let me leave, that means you're not generous and you're a bad person. You see how one answer is going to lead to you being a bad person and feeling bad, and then one answer is going to lead to you being the good person, the righteous person, and allowing them to do what they want to do to you. So that's the thing you got to notice, is that, is there pressure on my choice? Are they giving me a choice where no matter which one I do, I can be okay? Or are they giving me a choice where one of these choices, I will be the bad guy and I will feel bad? You got to acknowledge that. With all that being said, I want to leave you with just a few random things that I think might help if you're in this situation and you're questioning if somebody is a manipulator or just making you feel bad about yourself in order to control. Is one of the things that you can do is go to somebody that you trust, that never makes you feel guilty, doesn't make you feel bad about yourself, doesn't shame you, someone that loves you and takes care of you. This could be a friend, it could be a partner, it could be a family member, it could be whoever. Someone that you trust, and someone that never guilt trips you and only accepts what you have to say and gives you real advice. Go to them and tell them your complete story from top to bottom with this other person. The second thing you can do is go to a therapist. Therapists are much better than me and much better than most people, obviously, at detecting these little things which could be manipulation and gaslighting. They're able to fully explain to you what's happening in your situation and the way that you're responding to it. And a therapist can better help you with you emotionally processing that guilt that you're feeling. Another thing is practice saying no. No is a complete sentence. You don't need to add extra to no. You don't need to explain yourself to these people. When you say no, I'm not doing this, that's it. When they say why, just say because I don't want to. And then they're like, but no, like, why was your reason? Because I don't want to. No. You have to, once you start explaining yourself, because it's something I do. Once you start saying like, oh, I don't want to do it because of this reason, they're going to start to undermine your reason and say it's not strong enough. So in order to keep your stance in power, just say no. Give them no further ammunition, nothing to work with. Just say no. And then they're going to start that guilt tripping stuff, and you're going to be like, okay, that's fine, but the answer is still no. So hold on to your no. Don't open your fist with nothing else. When you put no in here, just hold on to this no. And no matter what they say in response, hold on to this no. And that's it. With that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all those amazing, beautiful things. If you watch this video to the very end, I want you to leave a eye emoji. because you need to open your eyes to the situation that's happening to you and the people that are mistreating you. So put eye emojis in the comments if you're starting to become aware of these tactics that are being used on you right now. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. See you later.